Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be going over some options you can do for radio go bags. I have 3 bags here, and each one has a different purpose and slightly different objective in mind. I designed these with the idea of protecting my radios inside. They're not the lightest packs, so if you're looking for a light pack, this is probably not the thing for you to watch, or maybe you have a better idea for lightening up the packs. But at any rate, these are the 3 bags that I created. They're made by Vanquest Mobius, and I think this one's called DT Bag, the company. There's 3 different radios. I have a Yaesu 817 in here, an original one. I have a KX3 in here, fully loaded, and then I have a Zygo X5105. And I'll go over briefly the differences and the pros and cons of each. I did a video review of this about a year and a half ago on this bag, or 2 years ago, I think. I can't remember, but it's on the channel if you want to look at in depth what's inside the bag. In general, this has 3 radios on it. It has a Yaesu ATR with the microphone GPS unit for APRS. Whenever I build a radio bag, I usually have an APR system with me. Sometimes I have it built into the radio bag itself. Other times I have another radio that goes along with the bag. So this particular unit, I have 3 radios. I have a VX3R here on the top with the charger, a USB charger to charge the battery inside here. And then I have an ATR also with a USB up converter charger to charge the radio in here. It's quad band radio, 6, 2, 70, and 125. This is a dual band radio, 2 meter, 70 centimeter. And then I have inside the pack the actual 817, which resides inside the pouch here nice and neatly. I operate from inside the bag, and I don't operate for too long, but everything packs nice and neatly into there. I don't have to take the radio out, put it back in, I mess around with too many cables. It's very, very self-sustaining system. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but in this pocket I have my antennas. On the inside pocket I have a JTX9, I think it's called, or a dual band J-pole, string up one from NTX9, I think it's the call sign is his call sign. I can't remember the exact call sign, but I got it off of eBay for about $34. I have some LMR Ultraflex 240 cable inside, and then I have some more jumper cables on the inside of the main pack here and some extra antennas. Inside this pouch here, the little zipper pouch, I have connectors. Inside this big pouch, I have a light and a pen. I also carry a pen with the pack here. The bag is the Mobius 2.0 by Vanquest. In the rear here, there is a zippered pocket. I have a writing utensil inside the pocket there via the side here, and then I have a pad for writing down my logbook and notes and whatever inside the pouch here. I'm not going to go through and open up the bag and everything, but I will show you this though. On the bag's right pocket, your left side, we have a Elecraft automatic antenna tuner powered by a 9-volt battery. This is the Elecraft T1 ATU. I like this antenna tuner. It tunes up pretty well. I've used it on 80 down to 6 meters. It's got a good range, and it's highly effective. The battery that's inside of it is a lithium ion, up to 9 volts. I have a lithium ion 9-volt battery charger in here. I couldn't find any nickel metal hydride chargers, so I went with that system instead. On this pocket, I do have the extra battery case for the ATR. I have the charger for the 9-volt battery, and I have the Energizer XP8000 lithium-ion battery pack for the Yaesu for the Yaesu 817. I have the solar panels inside the main pocket in the bag itself, so this thing is a self-sustaining system. I have an external speaker here, and I have the cable that connects to it, and this gets recharged via USB as well. So everything on this radio bag can be charged via the solar panel. Also inside the pack, in the main compartment, I have a 10 AA 12-volt output battery pack as well. That can come in and out of the bag here, but this is designed as a emergency go bag, so it has 2 powering options, battery powering options with it. Basically, you just grab it and you go and you can operate. So that was the idea behind this radio go bag. I've used it for someone on the air events. I've used it while hiking. It's a very heavy bag, so it's not the best option to use when you're hiking, but it does give you an idea what what things could be like with a heavier bag utility item like this. I decided to go this route instead of using like the Pelican cases. They are very nice, those Pelican cases. Some of the guys that designed those Radio Go boxes are amazing. They got a lot of creativity, ingenuity. I just felt that it was too rigid and too stiff for my needs, so I went with a softer type protection case instead. So this is the 817 bag. Like I said, there's more of an in-depth video on this, though it's a little bit outdated with the type of items that I have inside the bag. So the changes are the VX3R and the Elecraft automatic antenna tuner. Everything else is pretty much the same thing. And the speaker upgrade here, it's a Sony speaker. So that is the 817. That's the first Radio Go bag that I designed about 2 years ago. The next one I designed was earlier this year, back in March. This is the one that houses the KX3, which I also picked up earlier in the year. Similar to the 817 bag, the Mobius 2.0, this is a DT bag, I think it's called, and it's like a range bag. I chose this particular bag because of the shape and the way it opens up. I like to operate my radios directly from the bag. So in order to do that, I have to choose a very specific type of bag that not only fits the dimensional widths and gives me enough room to protect the radio inside, but it has a type of opening where I can see inside the bag without having to take the radio out. So beginning on the side pocket here, much like my other bag, I have an aperture radio. This is a dual band Yaesu FT1XD. I use that for beaconing out and as a backup radio. And then I have a bunch of cables and cordage in here for tying up my dipole in the other pocket, which I'll show you in a moment. And then I have 10-meter end-fed half-wave length wire here, although I'd mainly use this for a counterpoise when I'm doing the automatic antenna tuner inside, when I'm using that. Sometimes I don't have a 40-meter dipole in this particular unit, so I have to use that for 40 meters and 80 meters if I want to get on it. But I have my RG8 174 length of cable inside of here, extra length of cable. I have Paracord 550, and I have a flashlight, Maglite flashlight inside, powered by 2 rechargeable AAA batteries. In the front pocket, I have the solar panel, which charges the external battery unit in here. It's an OmniCharge 20 Plus. We'll go over that later. I have a bunch of USB cables. I have the AA battery pack for this radio here. And then I have a single bay nickel metal hydride charger. It's called the Soulshine. It's an older charger, but it still works. I can charge my AAA batteries on the light, or I can charge my AA batteries for the radio here with it. So that's what I have in the front pocket. And then I have a little pad to write down my notes and log in contacts as well. On the side here, you can see I have a pen. On this side, I have a telescopic 2-meter antenna. On this side here, we'll get inside the main pocket in a second here. On the bag's left side, your right side, we have the 20-meter dipole with the built-in length of coaxial cable, about 10 feet, RG8 174. My brother made that dipole, works very well. It's a 14-gauge wire, so I have a wide bandwidth of very low SWR. I think it's like 1.1, 1.2 for the whole band. So I can do CW, I can do phone, digital, whatever, and have low SWR values with that. I mainly do phone out in the trail. I know some guys are like, they love doing CW, some guys like doing digital. I'm going to get into that into the future. I want to do that too as well. But for now, I just know sideband. So that's what I'm doing right now on the trails, and it's a lot of fun. Opening up the bag, flap opens up like this. I have protective padding on top. You'll see the Alex mic. That is a nice little addition for the KX3. I recommend anybody who's interested in getting a KX3 to get the Alex mic. It's about a $100 investment. It's a speaker mic. It's a 5-watt speaker mic. You turn it on. You can change the volume right here without having to use the volume control on the KX3. So you see battery power. You can also charge it via its proprietary USB cable inside here while using it at the same time, which is really valuable. And you got an external phone port also as well for it. So it's also IPX56 rated for waterproofness. So if you get caught in the rain with this microphone out, you'll be okay. And that's very valuable to me as a field operator for doing QRP operations. Further into the pack, you notice there's 2 jumper cables here. These are quick disconnect BNC, the PL259 connectors that can connect into 2 BNC to SO239 connectors. These are RG858 cables. They're okay. They work decently. One of the cables has a little bit of a connection issue. It's probably just a bad cable, so I might have to replace that. But as you can see, I got a 2-meter transverter with the KX3. It's fully loaded. I bought it used from another ham radio operator. It was very nice. Richard, great guy. Fully loaded, all the roofing filters, everything you could think of. Even has the side panels on it. So this KX3, brilliant. I love it. I made this at home. This is like a little foam pad with some cardboard taped all around. I use it to protect the top of the KX3. Now the KX3 has a plastic cover in the front here. I don't know if you can see that with the camera. See that? I use that to protect the knobs and whatnot on here. I'm very compulsive about protecting the front of my KX3 and in general just protecting it. The whole bag itself is lined with padding. I have self-padding here for the cables coming out, so it's kind of buffered so it's not pressing on the cables too much. And I have foam on the bottom beneath the KX3, so it's nice and comfy inside the bag. That was the challenge of building a radio go bag for the KX3 because you want to protect your radios, especially this type of radio. I have used this on during the 13 Colony special event week event. I was one of the operators, and this was one of my main radios that I used out on the trails. There's a couple of videos of me using it online. You can see it. I'll link it in the description. But anyway, this bag houses the OmniCharge 20 Plus. I've done a full review on this battery bank. It's 6 18650s inside this battery bank. This can do, you can input, I think, what is it? It does 65 watts out, if I'm not mistaken, or was it 100 watts out? I don't remember exactly, but you can do a high output current with this. I only have it set for 13.4 volts out with about 2 amps out into the KX3. That's more than enough for me to run the KX3. I don't really run the KX3 as a full duty cycle. I run it at most 5 watts max, and sometimes once in a while at 10 watts. That's it. Other than that, I keep it about 1.5 watts for the 2-meter transverter, and that's all I like to keep it as. I don't want to run this thing full duty cycle. Anyway, that's the external battery that I have plugged into here. I have an Anderson power pole adapter to DC. They make it like a 3D printed power pole adapter for the KX3. I bought that, so now I just plug and play with the Anderson power poles. I have it plugged into this, which takes a DC barrel connector, so I can quick disconnect everything and not have to wear out the connectors on my KX3. I've also got that for the 817 as well. They make a Anderson power pole to DC adapter, and you protect the DC plug because it's a weak point on the 817, and I don't know if it's a weak point on the KX3, but I prefer to have that on the KX3. Anyway, that is the KX3 bag. It's quite heavy. I think it's about maybe 8 pounds, 9 pounds. It's hard to remember, but you know, it's a little bit more comfortable than the 817 bag for sure. That one's the heaviest at about 16 to 17 pounds. I remember measuring it at the UPS store, the weight. But one thing about this bag is sometimes the zipper gets caught on the edge there. It's not like the Maxpedition case or the Vanquest case where you don't have that issue with the zippers. So this bag cost me about 33 bucks on Amazon. So it's highly useful, it's like perfect for what I wanted to do with the KX3. I'll go over some of the cons of using these bags later. I replaced the strap with my Porta-Brace strap. It's more comfortable, thicker, much better feeling on my shoulders than the default strap. Okay, last but not least, this is the Zygo 5105 QRP 6 to 160 also HF radio. I just built this recently in the past week, and I've had the Zygo for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. And it's a great little radio. I gotta say, it does have its quirks. It has a lot more birdies and spurs in it, my particular model anyway. That's kind of annoying. The CW decoder doesn't work as well as some other models. The firmware is, I think, like one of the later firmwares. This is a 2020 model. It was made in April from the literature that I got with the box. On the right, or your left, talk about confusing sides, right? This is an external pouch that came with that the KX3 bag that I got. I call it the KX3 bag. It's not really a KX3 bag, but the zipper on it's kind of cheap too, like the KX3 bag. But it houses my 49-to-1 un that my brother built. I have a BNC adapter on it right now, so it works with the system that I own in here, the cable system. So this is the 49-to-1 un. I use it to get on 40 and 20 and 10. And then further inside the bag, I have some adapters for the solar panel, which is inside here, which charges the battery pack that I have in there as well. The front part right here, I have a bunch of connectors in this little pocket in the front. You know, I have my BNC SL239 connector and an elbow connector. I have some wing nut connectors for the element system. And then I have my BNC dipole. Very lightweight stuff. I went very, very minimalistic for this kit because I wanted a lighter bag instead of carrying those heavy bags up to the mountain. It is fun carrying those, but it's just the weight. After a couple hours of hiking, you're done. You're like, all right, I want to save as much weight as I can. The bag opens up in a clamshell fashion. The bag itself is a Maxpedition Neat Freak in tan. That's about $100 plus tax and shipping. As you can see, I have the Zygo X5105 inside. I have, again, a Energizer XP8000 battery. You can't find these anymore. They're kind of hard to see. This is an XPAL 8000 unit. It's pretty old, but it still works. It holds a charge. I have the 5105 here with the mic still plugged in. The cable's routed through the foam here, and the radio kind of rests against the foam, so it's not putting too much pressure on the mic cable. Although there is some pressure here, it's not as bad as it was in the case that I had previously for it. I used a Pelican type case, and it was okay, it worked okay. It's just, I wanted something a little bit more open and freer. Anyway, you can look up the dimensions on the Maxpedition website of this bag. I'm not going to go over it, but the reason why I chose this bag versus other bags for this, again, I like operating from the bag, and as you can see, when you open it up, it's a nice clamshell. You can access everything right in the front. You don't have to dig through the bag and get other things for it. So there you go. On the side here, I have the PowerFilm F15-300. It's a 5-watt solar panel at 15.4 volts out. It'll charge this battery here perfectly well and fine. I have the DC plug cables that plug into the radio here. It came with the cable. You have to solder your own adapters onto it. I have plugged into here, and from here I can plug into my solar panel and charge the battery while operating the X5105. So, and in this little pocket here, I have the RG8 174 cable, about 10 feet length, which I plug into the either the BNC adapter or I plug into the 49-to-1 un. So that is the main compartment. There's a bunch of other bags on the back of this, and other compartments on the back of the Neat Freak, but I'm keeping it very simple. I don't have anything in those pockets at all. I don't even have a logbook with this one. I actually carry it in my main bag. So that is the internal compartment of the Maxpedition Neat Freak with the Zygo X5105. This is my Summit on the Air kit. So it's not as lightweight as other kits that other guys use, which is fine, but it is rugged and it does last a while. On the front here, we have the elements for the dipole. I made a linked dipole. I have 2 elements for the 20 meter, and they connect via these ring terminals with the wing nut screws, and then I have 2 more elements which extend out further to make a 40 meter dipole. So I can be on 20 or 40 with the dipole, or I can connect all 4 of them. Sorry, I'm going to move the mic here. All 4 of them and use the end-fed half wave to down all the bands. 40, 20, and 10, it'll tune up on. So that, and then there's a pen here for writing, even though I don't have a pad inside. On the back, I have the, there's a lot of dust and crap on here, but there's the 550 paracord. I have a 25-foot length and I have a 20-foot length, and I have an extra 13 feet of 14 gauge wire with the wing nut, with a ring terminal and a alligator clip. That's for the either counterpoise or for connecting up and loading up on fences and whatnot. So I have that in the back pocket here. This all comes apart to access it, but I'm not going to take it apart here. And then obviously you can see the nice comfortable shoulder strap, which actually works pretty well. So those are the 3 bags that I have for summon on the air, and the 3 radio bags that I've made. I could go over my backpack that I use with the system, but I'm keeping it simple right now with just the radio bags. I like having external bags because I can pack my backpack with water and food and all the essential survival gear that I need, and this kind of just offsets everything. Is it the lightest option? No. One of the things I've noticed with operating all 3 QRP rigs here is that you need some sort of heat management system, i.e. a fan that blows on the radio when you're using it for long durations. If you want to increase your operating time, you need to have a fan, and you need to operate these things at like not full duty cycle, probably half duty cycle, like 50% or less, I would say. So that would be your optimal operating range, in my opinion, in at least in the New York seasonal area, I would say, especially in the spring and summer and fall months. You don't want to be out there overheating your radio. I've done that before with these radios, and that's one of the drawbacks, I think, when you operate from inside the bag. But to alleviate that issue, I have some fans coming in, small fans that are powered by USB that can sit inside the bag and cool off the radio while I'm using it. So that should help a little bit. But if you're starting out and you're trying to figure out what radio bag to make or what radio to get for Summon on the Air or HF operations, I would say save up the money and get a KX2 or a KX3. Probably the KX2 because lightweight, and you're probably not going to do 160 on as a QRP portable operator. You might, I don't know. I've never done that, but that's not to say nobody does that. And invest in a good protective system for your HF rig because they're very, very valuable. Even the Zygo and the 817, that's a lot of money. So protect your radios however you can. Other than that, that's the 3 bags that I have here. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Thanks for watching.